Brad from On Air with Ryan Seacrest. I am joined today by the lovely, talented, amazing singer, songwriter extraordinaire, Emily Warren.
Woo! Thank you.
So I want to give everybody some context because I just had like a fangirl moment. I've been obsessed with you for a while. Because a lot of people, so you're coming out with your debut album next week, October 5th. But you've been in the game for a really long time. So I want to give the audience a little bit of context. You have co-written all of these songs. Capsize with Friendship, by the way, one of my all-time favorite songs.
Thank you.
Like, that song's major, major, major.
Oh, thank you.
New Rules, Dua Lipa. I don't know if you guys heard of that little song. If You See Her, Lainey. A lot of songs with the Chainsmokers. You are currently on Side Effects, which is their single that's out right now, which is a bop. You did Paris, Sick Boy. You co-wrote the other two from the other album.
From the new one. Everybody. Yes. Oh, Don't Say My Type.
Don't Say My Type. My personal favorites off that album. You did Say My Name, David Guetta. The Other Side, Alessia Cara. No More Sad Songs, Little Mix. Break a Sweat, Becky G. Strings, Aftertaste, Air, and Lost by Shawn Mendes. And that's just a few. So that's just a few, but I want to just give you guys some context here. She's a really big deal. Oh. And what I want to know is kind of what made you decide that now's the time I want to come out with my own album?
There was a few things. Capsize actually was kind of the first segue really because they decided to leave my voice on that, and I kind of before that had always had this idea in my head that to be an artist it had to be this whole crafted project and your whole focus. But when people started reacting to that, I was like, wait, maybe you just have to put music out and do a little more. But that was one thing, and then the other was I was writing songs for Pitch for 3.5 years, pretty much just exclusively, and with other artists, and there was 2 songs in that whole pile of songs that were so personal that anytime someone was interested in cutting them or anything, I'd be like, I just don't know if I want someone else singing that.
Yeah. Wait, which songs?
The 2 songs are going on my album. They're called Just Click and Not Ready to Dance.
Okay.
Which it's just the fact that this moment is now happening and they're coming out is so exciting. And yeah, so those songs that's when me and my manager Zach started having the conversation all right, if you want to do this, now you got to do this.
Yeah.
And I felt like I had something to say, which I didn't always. So that's what inspired me to do it.
Yeah, I do think it's interesting because I think right now, I think authenticity cuts through.
Yeah.
And I think people are really responding to that well in the music industry. They don't want to just. There are, it's you want to hear a catchy song, but people are really resonating with a story and the lyrics, and I think that's really cool. I think I've actually heard that before. That singer-songwriters on the back end sometimes get really attached to a song, and when they give it up and it gets tweaked with a little bit, and they're kind of I didn't want that, and then you get a little bit more territorial, and you're maybe this is time for me to step up.
Yeah, for sure. No, totally. And what you're saying about authenticity and storytelling is so true, and been such an awesome shift in music, and I think I also went through a whole relationship and breakup stuff in this past year that's all in the album, and it's
Is that what Hurt by You is about?
It's all.
Okay.
Every last song is the whole story.
If you guys haven't heard Hurt by You, that is one of your songs that I'm just obsessed with. You're going to perform it in a little bit.
Yes.
But it's so amazing. The lyrics are so good.
Thank you so much.
But I want to talk a little bit about, is it hard, at this point now that you are having your own career, you still want to write for other people. How do you know, how do you differentiate?
Yeah, it's actually pretty, except for those 2 songs I was talking about, it's usually pretty black and white just because I'm usually in the room with an artist and asking them questions about their story, and that the song ends up being really personal to them, and then I try and set time aside to write for myself, so it's not generally wishing
so it's
I kept
super
the song.
Okay, that's interesting because every songwriter kind of has a different a song is a song, but the way it's created is so different depending on who's making it.
Right.
Who's the most interesting person that you've worked with that you kind of have a weird dynamic, not a weird but interesting that people would find you? I don't know if it's Shawn Mendes or whoever you work with, where you get in the room and you do something I don't know. I've heard of somebody petting the lyrics out or something like that.
Oh yeah. Just weird stories.
Yeah.
People
Or
have all
interesting.
different. Yeah, I mean, the cool thing about lyrics is that they come from all different places. I mean, I get a lot of the lyrics in the shower and stuff like that, but yeah, I don't know. Everything is weird, so I don't know it's a specifically weird story.
Well, because you're kind of like a therapist for these artists
Yeah.
a little bit, because they come to you and they just tell you everything, and then
Yeah.
you put it into a song,
Right.
saying what they want without saying it.
Right.
How do you do that?
I always in sessions, and I remember when I first sort of learned how to do this, I was working with my friend Scott Harris, who's done every single Shawn Mendes song, and we were working with these two twin sisters, and we started asking them questions just about like being twins, and they started answering all these questions, and then started getting into it with each other and having these crazy conversations, and it was like all of a sudden I realized, okay, wait, there's so many songs in here, I don't need to come with like a concept and try and put that on this session. But so now when I get into a session, I think the first 3-4 hours are just talking and asking questions and seeing what's going on with the person, because I think if they get comfortable enough to be honest and open up, they're going to touch on something that's really relatable and that will mean something. So definitely therapy approach in songwriting.
For sure.
And because then it feels good, and you have something like a song to remember getting through or starting to heal something or anything like that.
And I know you've worked with Sean. He's at top of my mind because I just did I went to the Grammy Museum. He did like a Q&A
yeah.
performance there
He was there.
last night. So good. But I'm interested in the way that he is in the studio, because he's admittedly been said that he's like a perfectionist, and he like
Yeah.
wants, he's in competition with himself.
Yeah.
What's it like being in the studio with him? From your end.
Yeah, it's awesome. He's a great energy. I think he's one of the artists that are a joy to work with because he knows what he does and doesn't want to do or say. But yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of, even beyond when I've been in the room with him, after that part of the process is done, I think he goes back and changes stuff, or the production gets done a bunch of different times. But everyone's, I mean, I think everyone's got a little bit of that, maybe to different varying degrees, but I mean, that's why my album took so long, because it was just like, this isn't right, start over. But yeah.
Out of all the songs you've written for other people, do you have like one that's most special to you?
Yes, I do.
Which one?
I always say this one. You probably haven't heard it. It's like buried on. It's this girl Astrid S. was on her EP, the first EP she put out, and we wrote this song called "I Don't Want to Know." And I just remember the session, like we were both kind of going through a similar thing, and we're both crying in the session, and the song was like everything at that time. I remember I went home and just listened to it a million times in bed crying.
That's what I do too.
So yeah, I just really am proud of those lyrics, and kind of the structure is a little different, and I know it like isn't a humongous song, but I think it's special.
And then I want to touch a little bit on Dua Lipa's New Rules, because like that song, just insane.
Yeah.
How does that feel?
I can't explain it.
I wouldn't.
Insane.
I'm like, that song is just so like, and it was like life changing for her.
Yeah, and me.
Yeah.
And all of us. I mean, it's that whole.
Well, you've made a name for yourself, girlfriend. So like, you're
Thank
like,
you.
yeah.
But I think what really was different about that song, or is different about that song for me, especially as a writer, is, it was one of the first songs that I'd written or been a part of writing that had like actual impact, in terms of I've gotten so many messages from girls and boys being like, thank you, I finally stopped seeing this person because I listened to New Rules a million times. And
Isn't that crazy?
That's crazy. I just got the chills talking about it. But I think as a writer, as a songwriter, especially doing pop music, to feel like something I've written has actually been, it's huge. That's like, that's it. I'm good now.
Yeah.
I've peaked.
Like, you're like on that end of it, and I'm the one on the other end that's like messaging these people, being like no joke. Like, I actually, when I listened to Post Malone's album for the first time, his lyrics were like really, like, one of the songs really hit me, and I sent him a DM, and I was like, this is gonna sound so cheesy. I totally like prejudged you. I thought your music didn't say anything, and this song really hit my heart, and the lyrics were so beautiful. Like, I think it's really cool. Like, I'm on this end and you're on that end, but like, you're, the things that you write and the art that you put in the world really affects people.
Thank you for
like
saying
the
that.
song that you're about to sing. So give us a little bit of context. So you're gonna sing "Hurt by You,"
Yeah.
and then you're gonna do a little medley of songs that you've written for other people.
Yeah.
But tell everybody about the lyrics of "Hurt by You."
So "Hurt by You" is the first song I put out by myself, and I wrote it with Scott Harris again, and my friend Nick Ruth produced it, and I was feeling at the beginning of my relationship, like, I feel like when you're first starting to fall in love with someone, you kind of put a wall up because you're scared, all right, if I'm completely vulnerable with this person, then anything could happen, I could be destroyed. But then was realizing that the more I did that, the less value there was in the whole relationship and situation. So the song is kind of a reminder to myself to just kind of let it happen, and even if it were to end badly or anything, it's kind of like still worth doing it.
But is it?
Honestly, I don't know.
But is it worth it?
I really just don't know.
Yeah, you're like, Okay, I'll let you sing that song. So take it away.